The opinions expressed by the host and guest on this program are solely their own and do not represent the views or opinions of Blind United. We strive to provide diverse perspectives and discussions on our platform, but the opinions expressed should be understood as personal viewpoints and not reflective of Blind United as an organization.
It's time. It's time for
coffee time.
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 And here is your coffee time crew.
Well, good Tuesday morning, everyone, and welcome back to Coffee Time with Blind United. So let me get into the interest groups for today. It's ladies' night, y'all, so we got a makeup application and skincare with Miss Aletha Donaldson, and then right behind that, you got the ladies' support group. And that starts at 5 with Aletha, and then finishes off at 6 with Vanetta Davis del Castillo. I always say that name wrong, but I promise I'm going to get it right. So always trying to work on my speech with that stuff. But anyway, again, it's ladies' night, so come on, hang out and check out what the ladies are doing. You know, learn how to make yourself look good. Just because you can't see yourself, that don't mean the world don't see you, right? You know, so you always want to make sure you look your best when you step out and represent. So anyway, but other than that, how's everybody doing this morning? Miss Carol, how you doing? Well, we got Carol and Pedro with us this morning. I'm all off my little format I done created for myself, but good morning, Carol.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Pedro.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I hope everybody's having a great Tuesday.
That's right. So, but anyway, some of this stuff we're going to do today is, some of it we covered, some of it we haven't, you know. So, you know, staying and, you know, within the blind, visually impaired realm, if you will. I did a little research and tried to find the 3 areas within, you know, sectors, you know, like within society where we have faced a lot of barriers, you know, and it came up in 3 major areas. So anyway, we'll get into this first one, and then the articles are not that long today, so we'll have plenty of time to talk about it on the other side. So let's jump into the first one, my brother, and then well, no, we want to do some promos first, huh? I don't know what we're doing this morning.
Well, we're doing an article and then the promos after.
All right. No problem. Let's get this first one out the way.
Yeah. You were partying hard.
For his birthday. I don't blame you, Pedro.
Yesterday was my birthday, so it's maybe a little residual.
All right, let's jump into it.
Today on Coffee Time, employment barriers still limit the blind community's potential. Despite decades of advocacy, the unemployment rate for blind and visually impaired, 6, individuals remains staggeringly high, estimated at over 70%. This statistic isn't just a number, it's a reflection of missed opportunities, systemic neglect, and persistent societal bias. Let's break down some of the biggest barriers. Transportation hurdles. Many blind and 6 workers depend on public transportation or paratransit services, which often fall short, especially in rural communities. Without access to job sites, consistency in employment becomes nearly impossible. Misguided employer perceptions. Unfortunately, many employers still question the ability of blind and 6 candidates to perform job duties or worry about how they will commute. These concerns often overshadow a person's qualifications, talents, and determination. Inaccessible work environments. Even when someone gets hired, they often encounter a lack of necessary accommodations like screen readers, braille displays, or accessible software, making it harder to perform and advance. The blind community is filled with talent, drive, and potential. What's missing are the opportunities and accommodations that allow them to thrive. What do you think needs to change to open more doors in the workplace? Let us know in the comments. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, I mean, again, we've talked about this before, just as a statistic. I'm surprised it didn't come out in the article, but again, we're 70% un or underemployed, and underemployed means you're not getting your worth, you know what I'm saying? They still got some of these workshops out there where, they think all we can do is sit there and do little menial tasks and stuff like that. I know a lot of some of the lighthouses, they got contracts where they, got little small factories where they package stuff and, they basically get minimum wage. I mean, it's subsidized income. It's a program, so Lighthouse they get a little bit, and or they pay they pay a piece of it, and then the government pays the other piece of it. But again, it's that accommodation thing, and also for me the awareness. People are scared to hire us. They think we're a liability. They don't want to deal with our software, or stuff like that. They think that's a liability. They think somehow we're going to be able to hack into their systems, and I mean, just all kind of crazy conspiracy stuff, really, right? But I mean, there's a lot of talent out here, and you think about somebody that is out there seeking a job, knowing the position we're in, right? We don't have any good reliable transportation. We're facing this discrimination thing because you're not aware of my abilities as a blind person, right? Then we also had to deal with the other issue of now you don't want to accommodate my needs, or do you want to allow me to bring my own accommodations in some cases? You don't want you don't want my screen readers and all that stuff on your system at all because you think we're going to hack into your system. So I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that needs to change. Is it better? It's definitely better than it was, but gas used to cost 25 cents a gallon too. So things change, but this is something that is changed for the better. I mean, people don't look at us the same way they did back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s. Well, they don't even look at us the way they did in the 70s now. With the technology that's out here. So, but it could be a lot better, and we could be, the biggest reason we're not contributing to society, and the majority of us are underemployed. A lot of us are on social income, but the reason is because we ain't looking for jobs. I mean, I know people are looking for jobs every day. Some got them and some don't. But again, we're just not treated right in that area. People are just lack of awareness. I mean, girl, I mean, I know you retired because of your blindness. So, or did you actually retire before your blindness?
I actually retired before my blindness. I worked at the insurance company for 32 years, and I also had a full-time, believe it or not, at a drug and alcohol treatment center where I was a urinalysis. Before I left both of those jobs, I was losing my sight, and in order to get the computers and things that would help me, like Zoom text and other things that could help me do my job better, just applying for it, I couldn't originally get it. I had to have letters from my supervisors stating why I needed those items in order to keep my employment. And, it was just some hurdles trying to jump through. And you're right, as far as the computer was concerned, because a lot of the work at the insurance company, I did computer work. And even in the lab, working at the treatment center, it was dealing with the state. So a lot of the things that they had me originally do, I couldn't access those programs. I'd have to talk with someone visual that was on their system, because they thought I was going to be able to have information that I'm not supposed to have. And it
Right.
was just silly, but eventually I end up retiring because my mother was sick. And, I needed to help her before she left in 16. So I just retired in 2013. But the
Right.
hurdles I had to jump through to try to get what I needed to
Lack of
aid me,
support on the job.
yes,
That's
it was
basically.
difficult. It really, really was difficult trying to get it.
So now, I mean, I know my brother Pedro. I know you've been out there. You've been trying to, put your resume out there and put it around a little bit. I mean, clearly you don't have a job yet. So tell us how that struggle's working out for you.
Well, yeah, I'm just putting my resume out there. About to hit some of these job fairs. I put it in my application for a few jobs and stuff. So I'm just waiting on that, and doing some things on the side. But I know when it comes to trying to get hired, sometimes you gotta advocate for yourself. You don't gotta undersell yourself. You hear about different jobs trying to pay you less than the minimum wage, and I guess that's what they want with that right to work program. Whatever you accept, even if you accept a penny, that's what you accept, and that's what you're gonna get paid. So, you know, I feel like sometimes they want to undercut the disability community, not just blind people, but there is prevalent, um, I guess, unknowing to regular sighted people is the unknown, and then the people that are so stuck on, oh, now the computer talks and now they're a expert hacker. Like, how does that coincide? You know what I mean?
Right.
Come on. The computers
Because
talk.
they can't imagine being able to navigate a computer without looking at it by using just keystrokes. And I guess most hackers, that's what they do. They do keystrokes. They
Hmm.
don't really use a mouse, and we don't use a mouse. So maybe that's the correlation. I don't know,
I
but
don't know, but
it's lack of awareness. I mean, we can't do nothing that you don't give us access
look,
to. It's
look,
just that
Correct.
simple.
they're gonna
Yeah.
say they're gonna hack into our thing when Jaws is talking, and they can listen to Jaws when everybody else that's sighted can go to the computer screen, do what they need to do. Somebody across from them can't tell what they're doing, but when we're doing our thing, you will be able to hear our Jaws talking. You
Right.
know.
And they're worried about us and not the people that
And
can
if my
see.
and if that synthetic voice bothers you, let me know. I can put a headset on.
Right.
hmm
That's right.
I have
So
no problem with putting a headset on.
so there's barriers. I think also when companies hire someone that is disabled and especially blind, they feel like that person is limited and, like you said, can packages. Blind people could do packaging, but you know, um, and that the government has to subsidize someone that is blind working. Like, that blind person should still get paid whatever they worth. They worth minimum, or if they worth more. You know what I mean? Pay that person. Don't undersell a blind person. We might. Everybody's good at something. Always.
Right.
Everybody's good at something. There should be no reason to subsidize because let me go here. Even some of these workshops and stuff, right? Where mostly where you see them is like regional center, where they their clients, which are a lot more disabled than others. That they got cognitive issues, some other stuff like that as well, right? But anyway, again, the work they're doing at that workshop is making money for the people. I mean, again, it's piecework, maybe assembly kind of stuff, right? But there's a quota. I mean, these people are getting the company is getting paid X amount of money for each product assembled. So therefore, why are you going to subsidize the income where they don't have to pay their employees and they can just get all profit? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. You know, let them pay the people. They making enough money, they can pay the people. It doesn't have to be subsidized. But just like we don't need to be subsidizing, hey, what is it, a multi-trillion-dollar industry like the oil industry? We don't need to be subsidizing them either. But let these people, again, just because I'm blind. I mean, that used to be the thing with rehab, right? When you would go to out here in California, especially, it probably was all over the country because it is federal funded, even though it's operated by the state. Where they subsidize. If you was willing to give a disabled person a job, then they'd be willing to subsidize it for X amount of time. That way the employer was technically getting a break. This is how they disguise it, right? The employer was getting a break and giving them an opportunity to see how well you work. So it's like a probation period where they only had to pay a percentage of your pay. And it's crazy. I mean, I appreciate the leg up, but now we got people that are standing on their own merits. We got people that are trained. We just need y'all to get over your stereotype and misconceptions and realize that, we can do the job. If we're applying for it, we can do it, so.
Right. You're absolutely right. I mean, down here we have, in Dallas, Texas, what they actually do is they make uniforms for the military. You're talking about the Air Force, Navy, Marines, Army. They make construction hats and vests that are reflective for the individuals that are out there on the road at night. It's a lot of things that they just think we can't do, but then you have individuals who have masters, bachelors, and you just won't hire them because you feel like, okay, they're visually impaired or they're blind, so they possibly could not do this task. And that's incorrect. Give us a chance, because you'd be surprised how many people want to work. And you just don't give us the option to even try.
Exactly. I mean, and it ain't just our community, it's folks in the disabled community, period.
True.
Whether
that's true.
They blind or they in a wheelchair or whatever.
Hearing impaired
is, they just look at us as outcasts. So, I mean, that's the way they feel. I can't say that everybody looks at us that way, but that's the way they make us feel, like we're outcasts. We're not worthy. Go home, sit down somewhere, be quiet.
It's like if it doesn't affect you, then you don't think about it. If you don't know someone who has some form of disability, it doesn't apply to you. But when it does fit your self, then you realize, okay, yeah, they can do this. And of course we can.
Right. All right, well, my brother, let's drop a couple promos and then we'll get into the next one. Did you know Blind United offers free training in assistive technology? We call them interest groups. We offer training in JAWS, NVDA, iPhone, iPad, as well as Meta Ray-Bans. We also have groups like support group, cooking groups, and crafting groups. There are also groups for entertainment like movie night and RS game night. For more information about all the interest groups that we offer, just email us at info@blindunited.org or visit our Facebook group, Blind United Interest Group. We would love to have you be part of the Blind United crew.
Hustling jingles, $10 a shots. Birthday beats and holiday knocks. Gotcha covered for the ones you love. Personalized joy like a custom glove. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford. Got a catchy tune for your babe. Poppin' beats like dreams we crave. For Mama's Day or Papa's cheer, let's make smiles from ear to ear. Get your jingle hot and fresh. Info at blindunited.org. $10 only, no more, no less. We make memories you can't afford.
All right. Well, hey, you guys don't forget about them jingles, man. I'm telling you, they're unique, nice gifts, something that's not everybody, you know. Hey, you might even want one for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Just promote your own thing, you know. But anyway, so we're gonna jump into this next one, and this next one is number 2 on the list of the barriers that we face as within the blind community. So this one is about education. So let's check this out, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Day on Coffee Time. For blind and visually impaired students, the classroom can be a battleground, not because of academics, but because of access. Equal education is a right, yet sick students are too often left without the tools they need to succeed. Here's what they're up against. Inaccessible learning materials. Standard textbooks, worksheets, and handouts aren't always available in Braille, large print, or audio formats. When materials arrive late or not at all, students fall behind through no fault of their own. Limited access to assistive technology. Tools like screen readers, Braille note-takers, or magnifiers can make the difference between thriving and falling behind, but many schools either can't afford them or don't prioritize them. Undertrained staff, teachers, and support staff are often unprepared to meet the needs of sick students. Without the proper training, these students miss out on the individualized strategies that foster learning and growth. Until we ensure equity in education, the cycle of exclusion will continue into adulthood. Education is the foundation of independence, so how do we start strengthening that foundation for everyone? We want to hear your thoughts. What's working in your community, or what needs fixing? Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Well, on the education front, I mean, there's still a whole lot of changes that need to be made there. I mean, again, access to the proper assistive tech, uh, awareness by the teachers, professors. I mean, there's a whole big realm of things. I mean, access to a course material in a timely fashion. Here's the crazy part. I've had quite a few students tell me this, right? A lot of time when you go into college, you might be taking a particular course, and the professor of that course, he'll, as part of the reading material or course material, whatever, it will be a book that they have written, right? But that book is not offered in any other format. So you can't get it in digital. You can't get it in large print. You can't get it in braille. So now you got to buy the book, take it to somebody, and they got to tear the book apart and scan the book page by page. And this is another reason why our students are falling out of school or falling behind is because by the time that process is done, they done moved on. You spending your time doing makeup assignments. And then you still falling behind with the current assignments because you're so stuck on the makeup assignments. You feel it's just an endless trap. So, uh, I mean, they need to start young with the kids and teaching them the technology. Make sure that they have access to the technology, that they need. I mean, they got so much great technology out there now. I mean, especially for the young ones that were born blind and can't have never been able to see. I mean, they got tactographic displays now. Where you can put an image on a graphic digital display, and they can feel it. Depending on how you get into designing your display, your braille display, different heights could mean different colors. Different things like that. I mean, there's a whole wide range of things we can do. I mean, we talked to a gentleman once, Marco Saldicia, and he was talking about graphic, coding for that kind of stuff. Uh, uh, I mean, there's so much stuff that can be done now, and that puts us on an equal playing field. You don't want these kids, uh, you know, coming out of high school and they're not ready for college. They don't know how to use the technology. They don't know how to study. I mean, that's the biggest thing you go into grade school for is to learn how to learn. And then once you get into college, that's when the real education starts. So we get left behind right out the gate. So it's a race right now that is really 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 hard to win. I mean, I know some other gentlemen I've spoke to that are actual attorneys, blind attorneys, and they had to fight the battle of being able to use assistive technology in order to take their bar exam. Okay, I mean, I can't just walk in here and get a number two pencil and fill out a form. It's got to be a better way. We got to have some sort of accommodation. I mean, they made it. They made the accommodation was reached because they would had passed the bar and they're practicing attorneys right now. But again, why we got to have so much battle for all this stuff? So, but education is key, and we need to really, really, really start young, and we need access to the technology, to the equipment. So that's my take on it, Carol. What's your thoughts, babe?
I mean, I completely agree with you, Ed. When I went to college, I just unfortunately was visual, and I just could not imagine, having to be left behind just based on the fact that I couldn't see. Wasn't anything wrong with my mind, like a lot of individuals that are out there, their minds are brilliant, but they just can't see. And just some kind of way they've got to get better to where these young children that have dreams, just like visual children, can actually fulfill them. And having the right things that they need is the aid that will give them that step up. Each person wants to be individualized. They want to stand on their own and not have to rely on someone to read this to them or explain this to them about the colors or what have you of those who are not visual at all. So it's got to be, it's got to get better. It really does, because they're our future. And a lot of talent is being left behind just because of individuals who can't see.
Well, this is true. This is true. I mean, again, it's all about the technology and paying attention to the kids. Right quick, Tisha and God first say good morning. So good morning, ladies. But again, it's having the technology available. I mean, while you go into class, taking notes. You know, we can't write stuff down. We can't make a little note on a notepad. So we need equipment. We got to have what they call a braille note. That's exactly what it's for. It's, so again, this education is key. We need to start young, and then we still need to make sure that all this accommodations are met. I mean, the material, the course material, so we can keep up. So uh, uh, I don't know. What's your opinion, Pedro?
Yeah, yeah, there is certain barriers, you know, it's either they have the material in one type of format, and then either or they may have the material in braille and you might not read braille. They might have the material in large print, but you're completely blind, you know. So it can vary. Uh LA Unify is pretty good on having their stuff accessible. Where I have noticed and what I heard from different individuals that are visually impaired is when they transitioning into college. This is where they find barriers and roadblocks when it comes to technology. When I was myself also in college, and I needed something to be done, something visual. I needed to plan and go down to the campus, and it could be a day or two later that they have available, and this assignment needs to be turned in by tomorrow, or it's just like a homework thing. They wanted me to go in probably like 4 or 5 days later after all the things needed to be turned in. It was not nothing too serious, but planning, getting access, not knowing if you get there in time, then planning the way home. It's sometimes it's like a big old thing we have to get into. It's not just going to the college or going to work. It's getting there, getting everything ready. Sometimes even the transportation is lagging or they're gonna get you there late. And then now you gotta worry about your boss getting in your ear or your teacher always like, oh man, they're coming late. He's always coming late. So sometimes it's a lot of barriers, but when it comes to technology, I would have materials and books and things like that that they will come in different formats. Let's say I buy a book, yeah, okay. If I want it in Kindle format, give it to me in Kindle format. If that's what I'm comfortable with and I know how to browse and skim through using the Kindle, give it to me. If I'm good at Braille, have it in Braille too. But if I'm able to get it in a PDF, accessible PDF at that, with headings and all that, again, I could travel around and with the chapters and all this, give me that. If I could do it mobilely on my phone, give me that access to it on my phone. If I could do it on my computer, give me that access on my computer because everybody does everything differently. Um, so it's good to have these avenues open and for anyone that's visually impaired to take advantage of those different avenues because we could get there. As long as we get there, we might do it differently, but as long as we get there and do it and able to excel. And this is where the education, the Department of Education comes in. The Department of Education handles little things overall with education and materials, but the biggest thing they do is make education accessible for people that have a disability. They have those 101 aids for people with autism. They make sure that the curricular is across the entire United States. Is accessible for someone that is disabled, even with no hearing, someone that is visually impaired, someone that is completely blind. Um, so This is what the Department of Education does. It takes up cases too when somebody been discriminated and is disabled in one of these schools. That's what this Department of Education does. One of the biggest things, that's what it does, you know. So
Well, I mean,
them-
they mandate the stuff, but at the same time, we've heard horror stories about the person that you're assigned to as you're going through, especially in grade school. A lot of times they don't even know about the technology you need. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we run into people that had a position where they supposed to be advising on what technology that the kids and stuff need, but they might know what the technology is, but they don't even know how to use it themselves. So I mean, again, the Department of Education will mandate that you're supposed to be doing these things, but when you get down, where as they say, where the rubber meet the road, the actual interactions, there's not enough qualified people there just making sure that these kids are getting what they need, not getting the equipment they need, getting the
Mhm.
training they need,
And
making sure
also,
that they stay up, with the rest of their flow of their classmates, their peers.
yeah, yeah, and then it also boils down to the state and down to the county also, so it's not all just one federal and it needs to be a combination of these things because, you know, the state has a say, the county has a say in a way, you know what I mean? And they need to get together and, you know, have make it accessible. And then I noticed with over here I live in Los Angeles. Um and people talk about our community college program and how they striving on to maintain accessibility for their students. I'll be hearing that they have jaws in their computers in these colleges. um access to OCR technologies and stuff like that for books. So they're trying to strive, but it takes sometimes that first person, that is blind, that goes into that road and paves the
Right.
way
I
for the
mean,
next person. Because when
uh,
I was going to school, they told me like this. Oh, yes, we had this person, and this person did talk to us about that, and I think we have this already here. So let me go find it. So going and being the first one paves the road for the next person coming up too. So always keep
and
that
if
in
they
mind.
don't have it, is advocating for it. I mean,
Exactly.
that. I mean, once now that a lot of these, educational folks now they realize that that they can be held liable for not having this stuff. So I mean that's why there's a little bit more access to it, and then on the community college level, again, it lets people that per se have a slower start into their process of educating themselves. You know what I'm saying? Rather
Right.
than jumping straight into a college or a university, you can get a lot of those other courses out of the way before you get there, so it's not as daunting once you get there. Or maybe you just need some training and stuff like that. I mean, you don't necessarily want a master's degree or a doctorate or whatever. You can get that stuff at a junior college, some of your associates, some of your bachelor stuff, at a junior college. So,
That's true. You
uh,
really
you
can.
know, so, but again, it's still lacking. It's still daunting. Like I said, when we don't have everything available, like I say, in today's world, why is there a book out there that cannot be easily transcribed into, if not some sort of digital format? I mean, whether it's a PDF or digital, whatever, it's still something that we can gain access to it through our tools that we have available to us now. So again, there's still a lot of work needs to be done in that area. So That'll
That's
bring
true.
us on to the next set of promos, and then we'll jump into the last article.
Did you know that people in third world countries do not have access to canes? The You Cane Give initiative gives canes to people all over the world who cannot get canes. The You Cane Give initiative not only goes to these countries and gives people canes, but they give people canes and a digital recorder that is solar powered that has instructions on how to use the cane and instructions on how to repair the cane. The You Cane Give initiative is a very worthy cause, giving canes to blind people all over the world. If you have a cane that you're no longer using, or a cane that's broken or bent, you can go to youcanegive.org and get a shipping label, and you can ship your cane to Jimmy in Tennessee, and he will refurbish it and give your cane to a blind person in a third world country. That website again is youcanegive.org. Do you need to talk? Are you struggling with your mental health? Are you struggling with substance abuse issues? Call the Orange County NAMI Warm Line. That number is 877-910-9276. That number again is 877-910-9276.
All right. Well, the last area in this trio of barriers is within healthcare. So let's listen to this one, and we'll talk our way out of it after we get to the other side.
Today on Coffee Time, healthcare inequality. The sixth community deserves better. Accessing quality healthcare is already complicated. For blind and visually impaired individuals, the challenges are even greater and, in many cases, dangerous. Here's what the data tells us. Lower insurance rates. 6 individuals are about 7% less likely to have health insurance, which limits access to regular care, medications, and treatments. Fewer regular providers. 4% fewer 6 individuals have a consistent primary care provider, making it harder to manage chronic conditions and receive preventive care. Geography and class barriers. Those in rural or low-income communities face additional hurdles, from unreliable transportation to fewer accessible clinics. These challenges aren't just frustrating, they can be life-threatening. From misdiagnoses to untreated conditions, the consequences are real. So, what can we do to ensure accessible healthcare for everyone, regardless of vision? Could telehealth or mobile outreach be part of the solution? Join the conversation and share your experiences or ideas. We're listening. Now back to the Coffee Time crew for their thoughts.
Ed, I'll be
Go
jumping
ahead.
out.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
See you tomorrow, my brother.
See you,
All right,
Pedro.
guys.
Have a good
All
one.
right.
Uh,
That is sad, though, what I just heard about the article.
yeah, it is. It really is. So you
Mhm.
be safe, man. Yeah, I mean, again, even in the healthcare, I mean, again, I know a lot of people. Telehealth could help. I can see what I can help. I've done telehealth. I did telehealth. You know, the telehealth is something that really kind of took off during COVID. You know, it's cool. I mean, of course, I can't see the doctor. The doctor can see me. You know, but it's not the same. I mean, it's not being there. They not. You know, it's still. I mean, how do I know how well they can see me? You know, I mean, if they're trying to pay attention, if I'm trying to show them something, if, you know, like you know, maybe I got an issue on my arm and I'm trying to show it to them. How well can they see it? You know, they certainly can't feel it to see if there's any swelling or a knot or something below the skin, right? Uh, uh, so I mean, on some of that stuff, maybe it can help, but then we got another barrier, right? I mean, if they living out in the rural where they can't get to the doctor, chances are they haven't went and got any training on how to use the technology in order to even do telehealth. You know, uh, so now we got to hope and pray that they have, a caregiver that can do that. You know, it's just really really sad that these barriers persist. I mean, I know a lot of people that they can't even access their, even right here in the city. That like mine, I have an app on my phone. I got an app on my computer where I go in and look at all my medical. I can go in and I can make appointments. I can message the doctor. You know what I'm saying? I just got a notification yesterday about some lab work that came in. But there's so many people out there that don't have the ability to actually access that stuff. You know what I'm saying? They don't have the training to do that kind of stuff. And nowadays healthcare. I mean, you're just another number to them. I mean, that's all it is. Even when you go to the doctor, if you lucky enough to be in a place where you can get to the doctor. I mean, I do have a primary care doctor. I do see my primary care at least, 2, 3 times a year, follow up on stuff. I can message her. But anyway, my point being, we're on their time zone. Once you make that commitment to do that doctor's appointment, chances are, you can be tied up for a minimum of 2 hours. Minimum. You know, you're gonna sit there, you're gonna come check in, and you're gonna sit there and wait on the nurse to come get you. Then the nurse is gonna come get you. She's gonna do your vitals, put you in a room. You're gonna sit there for another 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Who knows? It might be an hour before that doctor gets in there, because they got them so booked up. And I found out, Carol, they actually do telehealth in between visits in the rooms,
Oh,
in person
wow.
visits.
That's crazy.
Because I mean, again, it's all about scheduling. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? So I
yes.
mean, again, just because you don't hear them walking around in the hallway, they might be sitting in their office at the desk doing other patients via telehealth.
That's crazy.
I mean, it's crazy the way they do this stuff nowadays. And I mean, everybody deserves good health care. I think health care should be a right. I mean, you know, again, we're the only country that's got private health care. Everybody else on the planet has got public health care. If they got health care, it's public. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
uh, uh, it doesn't make sense to me. It's supposed to be, until January 20th, we was the most richest country on the planet. And why can't we provide this stuff for our people? Why can't we, in rural areas? I mean, come on, let's go back to the days when you had a country doctor. He made his rounds. He give him a van, give him a sprinter, whatever. It could be his own little office. He just drives up to your front door.
Right.
You step out your front door and walk into his office, right? Why not a motorhome, something? If you got to have a waiting room or whatever, I don't know. If you want to have a nurse in there with you, whatever. It doesn't matter. In today's world, there's no reason why we can't provide this stuff. And the fact that people are doing without, that's what really really hurts me. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yes.
what really really hurts me. So
You're right. I mean, the telehealth, they're always telling me to go on my portal. but a lot of the websites that they have, for my my doctor's office, it's not accessible. So I prefer to go in. I physically want to see my doctor. But you're right. It's like if I have an appointment at 10 o'clock, 10 a.m., I'm there at 9:30, but I might not see her until 11:30. And just trying to figure out, okay, I need to book my ride. So I've actually had an appointment where I physically walked into the doctor's office and had to leave before I actually saw the doctor, just based on the fact that my ride was scheduled to come and she was running behind. Now that I know what you're saying, in the middle, she may be doing these calls. It's like it's just crazy. And I call ahead of time. Okay, how long is this appointment set for? And they may say 45 minutes. Well, I'll set it for an hour and a
Well, you
half.
know what you can try to do, Carol, and they allow us to do it out here.
What's that?
Our return ride
Yes.
is will call,
Okay.
meaning that when we get done with the appointment, we call and they send somebody right away.
Well, see, we don't have that here. If I get done and I call them and it's no one in the area, then I'll have to wait until someone is in the area. I've actually waited 2 hours waiting for someone to come and get me.
Mm.
I've done that once or twice. So I just try
Well,
to.
I'm glad we got what we got. That's all I can say. Because
I
now the
wish they had it
company,
here.
the contractor that actually handles us, they
Hmm.
are a nationwide contractor.
Hmm.
It's actually called Call a Car.
Okay.
But they do a lot of health, healthcare insurance. They provide transportation for your healthcare, the insurance companies, right?
Right. Right.
And so we get two types of service. We get door to door, meaning that they'll take you all the way inside the medical complex and get you to the right doctor.
Right.
Okay. And then we have curb to curb, which means they'll send you a lift,
Okay.
So me, those places where I know where I'm going, I'm familiar with. I do the curb to curb. That way I get a lift,
Right. I got you.
you know. And then even on the other ones, they used to let me do a door to door to get there,
Hmm.
and then I would have somebody in the office take me back out front, and then they would let me do a lift to get back home. But now because of the contractors, the independent contractors that provide service in that area. Again, they if they get the ride to take you over there, then they also get the ticket to bring you back.
Okay.
So well, I mean, it's good for them, right? But it's
Of
bad for
course.
us because, as you say, when I come walking up out of here and I call, I'm done, that independent contractor might be on the other side of town dealing with somebody else. I got to wait on them to finish up with them before they get over there to me.
Right.
So I mean, but again, there's a lot of setback. There's a lot of things that could be, straightened out. I mean, I hate to put it out there, but I just recently found out we got people out here now that's abusing their transportation.
Mm.
Some of these insurances now, like I said, they using these services where they use Lyft, right, or Uber, and bottom line, you can just, oh, I need to go to the pharmacy, and you're not actually going to the pharmacy, you're going to the restaurant that's three doors down,
Oh man, that's crazy.
you know, stuff like that. I need to go to the hospital. Well, you're not actually going to the hospital, you're going to the stadium that's on the next block.
They
you
didn't
know
figure out a way to maneuver the system to where it works best for them, but it makes it bad for everybody that needs the system.
well, and that's what happens when you do that. I need to go right now. You allow that same day service.
Right.
Here we don't have that. In mine, we actually have to order 5 days in advance.
Oh wow. Now we do have a program here that's called Go Link, and it works like any place where the bus would go. But like if I wanted to go somewhere today, I could call them, and if they're in the area, they'll tell me when they can take me. and it's free. But if I wanted to use, say, I have a doctor's appointment later on today, I couldn't do that with my dark paratransit. I'd have to book it, say yesterday in order to be somewhere today.
Right.
So, it's some conveniences and it's some inconveniences. Now they actually, instead of it 5 days a week with the dark paratransit, they're open 7 days a week. But it's, between certain hours, 8 and 5. So if I call at 5:10, needing to go somewhere the next day, I'm messed up. I'll have to wait
Right.
for the next day to see if GoLink may be in the area to take me where I need to go.
Now, well, I mean, again, all I use the medical transport for the doctors, and then when I'm going back and forth to the train, I use Uber, and I'm blessed because I mean, again, different counties have different programs,
Right.
and out here, one of the programs that we have is where I can use. Uh, uh, they give me a promo code. So
Okay.
every month, the access is out here, the paratransit out here where I live in San Bernardino County, they give me a promo code where I get 15 rides. So let me explain it this way. I get 50% off 15 rides up to $15 on per ride.
Oh, wow.
So if the ride is $30, I only pay 15.
That's good.
If the ride is $35, then I pay 20.
Yeah, that's good.
So I mean, I use it. I mean, I used it yesterday to run out. I bought me a new vape module for my birthday.
Hey, hey.
So but the little run down to the store. I mean, once I got done with my promo code, it was only like $4 or $5 each way for me.
That's great. And it's
So
same day.
and well, again, that's with the Uber thing and using it, having that promo code.
Right, right.
So, but again, you get 15 rides a month. So, the first of every month, you get a new promo code, you got a fresh 15 rides.
Now they do have a program, Uber on Demand here, but they no longer are taking, new riders. But it's a lot of people that are abusing that, where they can get 2 rides a day, and it just depends on how far they're going, but depending on the mileage. So if you go past that mileage, you have to pay a certain amount of money. But if it's within that particular mileage that is, permitted, that ride is free. But of
Well,
course, they're no longer taking applicants. But I consistently call because I'd like that program as well, because I like to go places and not always have to wait, because you have to stay an hour at whatever location you go to down here with dark paratransit. So if I'm just going to get my medicine from the pharmacy, I got to stay at that location an hour before someone else can come pick me up, even though it might have took 5 minutes to get my medication. So, it's inconvenient, but it's convenient. You just have to, unfortunately, do what you can do based
well,
on
you got to do
what
what
you have available.
you got to do whatever your county, whatever is provided in your area allows, right? I
Right,
mean, at one point, just all right, like with mine, with my promo code. I love it. It works, right? But I can
right.
only use it here in San Bernardino County. If I go to LA,
Mm-hmm.
open up that same Uber app, it knows I'm in LA and it won't allow me to apply.
What? Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
So it
Okay.
won't allow me to apply that. Now in
Right.
LA for a minute, they had a thing where if you call and book a ride for LA Access, they was in the Southern Division, I believe it was.
Mm-hmm.
They were asking you if you was willing to do an Uber, and of course, people were willing to do Ubers
Of course. Yeah.
because
That's straight there.
again, now you eliminated the share ride aspect of it.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You're
They're
going
gonna pick
straight
you up
there.
and take you right where you want to go. So I mean,
Right.
it was a pilot program. Not everybody was able to access it at all times. A lot of times people was only able to access it in one direction because they'd be in Southern going out of Southern, but they couldn't get it to come back into Southern because LA is so big, they got regions.
Okay, gotcha.
And you actually have to call each region to book your ride, if that makes sense. So
it does. It does.
So, but anyway, we are at the end of this time. Let me get down here to this button right quick.
Okay.
Okay. So, but yeah, interesting day. I mean, like I said, there's still a lot of barriers out there. I don't know if we're ever going to get to a point where we have equal access to things. I mean, I know we got a lot more access now than we have in the past, but
Yes.
I mean, that we're supposed to. But my point being is, in today's world with the technology and everything that we have now, being the richest country in the world, I see no true excuse for not having equal access for everybody at this point. So we got to keep advocating, keep doing what we do, trying to keep fighting for what's right. So anyway, if you like what we're doing here on Blind United, all that stuff, please like, share, follow, comment, hit the notification, share, whatever they do on whatever platform. I say that every day. It really does help out, and we really do appreciate it. So hopefully you enjoyed what information we brought to the table today, and let's see what tomorrow brings. Everybody enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.